If you follow any of the cycling forums here in Gauteng, you know how dangerous it is right now to be a cyclist in the province. The Democratic Alliance, in fact, is very concerned about a spike in violent crimes targeting cyclists in the Gauteng province. In fact, identifying several hotspots in the area. The party is now calling on Community Safety MEC Faith Mazibuko to intervene. It wants to see increased police visibility and more patrols. I have to ask the DA's Michael Shackleton. Michael, good morning to you. Is that realistic? There are so many cycling routes in and around Gauteng, some of them out in the far west rand, the south, the north. It seems like a good idea, but how practical is that? Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Sorry. I think that a positive start would be to really increase patrols and visibility in areas where we know that there are hotspots, such as that we know that Pretoria East in numerous places like Elotus Park and so on. We know Centurion, Irene, now Mapius, those places are hotspots. And I've actually literally, while you've been speaking to me, I've been getting information from informants about hotspots in the East Rand area as well, in Bedford View. So I do think that even via releasing a media statement, people are coming forward to give information to help us tackle this problem head on. So whilst yes, the police are in fact dramatically under-resourced across Gauteng, I think a good start is to address those hotspots, and clearly the information of where they are doesn't seem hard to get at all.
Michael, let's just talk for a moment, just bring viewers who might not be involved in the world of cycling into the picture. Why are cyclists being targeted? I would imagine it's because it's very well known what the value of these bikes are.
Yes, certainly. The value of bikes runs into several tens of thousands of rands. You get bikes for 30,000, 50,000. What isn't clear to me is where they are selling these bikes, as you don't necessarily see them being openly sold on, for example, Facebook groups. But allegedly, this gang also steals things like quad bikes and generators and pumps, and sells those things as well. It's been alleged that this gang includes mostly Mozambicans and some Zimbabweans and some locals. I can't corroborate that 100%, but there are members within communities that are telling me this.
There's an area out towards the west of Johannesburg. Many cyclists in the province will know it as the cradle of humankind, out towards Mildersdrift. Dedicated cycling lanes, which has become a slightly safer area because not just from protecting cyclists from road users, well, that's the idea anyway, but also because people are cycling in larger groups. Is there a point, do you think, where we could see a situation like the west of Johannesburg and what we see down in Cape Town, dedicated cycling lanes in certain areas that are easier to police, and try and encourage cyclists to rather go there? It's not fair, is it, Michael, to herd cyclists to one area, but people are safer in numbers, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. In fact, the DA here in Gauteng, we are encouraging cyclists and runners who have been attacked as well to go out in numbers. I think for the viewers that are unaware of the modus operandi of these criminals, is that cyclists are being hit physically with motor vehicles. Cars are actually coming up and hitting them off of their bikes, and the bikes are then stolen. And I think in groups, at least one can make another person aware, and so on. I think, yes, what has been put in place in the city of Cape Town, especially, I think often it sets a shining example to the rest of the country. But at the same time, yes, we do have to ensure that. I mean, I think having a dedicated cycling lane makes it less likely that you're going to find a vehicle in your lane that it's going to hit you. From that point of view, it's safer. But you have to make sure that it does correlate with increased policing and patrols.
No, it does as well. Just before I start saying goodbye to you, Michael, what timelines are we talking about here? Because generally in Gauteng you have hordes of cyclists, tens of thousands of them, training for two particular events. One is, we'll know it as the Argus down in Cape Town. It's now the Cape Town Cycle Tour, so early December, January, lots of cyclists out in Gauteng. The other is the Joburg race later in the year. The name fails me. I can't think of who it is these days. That big race in, I think it's November these days. What's your timeline between now and the end of the year to try and meet with the Safety MEC and get something going? What's your timeline look like?
Yes, well, what we have done is that we have written immediately to the MEC for Community Safety since yesterday, asking for a dedicated safety plan, and also to establish how, and just to be clear, the safety plan is to protect cyclists and athletes, and to work hand in hand with the MEC for sports, arts and culture. But also we're requesting essentially how many cases in this regard tackling cyclists and runners have been opened, and how many convictions. It normally takes a few weeks to get those answers. I have asked for information from complainants as to the people that are willing to come forward with their own names, phone numbers and case numbers, and I'll be writing to the Provincial Police Commissioner and to the Tshwane District Commissioner as well, who oversees all of the station commanders for the whole of Pretoria. So we are trying to tackle this in a variety of ways. Maybe it doesn't answer you exactly as to timelines, but right. We are tackling this in every reasonable way that we possibly can. We released a media statement. I'm talking to you on TV now. Later this morning, I've got a radio interview. We'll be tackling this head on inside the legislature.
And it's about taking it to the public space as well, and then getting legislation on board as well. You are certainly taking on the fight for all athletes. DA's Michael Shackleton, appreciate your time, and I'm pretty sure Michael wouldn't mind if I say, if you are an athlete, if you're a cyclist, a runner, whatever it might be in the Gauteng area, particularly Pretoria East seems to be a big issue at the moment, and something has happened to you. Hopefully you're okay. I'm sure you can go and find the DA's Michael Shackleton and send him any details that you have. It'll just help that argument to try and make it safer for everyone in terms of, because cycling in the country very, very dangerous at the moment because of the value of these bikes. Also, cyclists carry cell phones on them as well, and that seems to be the issue, Tumza.
All right, well, of course.